I think some of us have an idea what we think financial intelligence is, but I'm sure by the time this session is over, we're going to have a bit more insight about how we can be financially intelligent, as who is financially intelligent. So now that I've kind of given us a little bit of background as to what we're going to be learning about today, so I would welcome to the podium our guest for today, Brother Idol Anthony-Ajileye is here with loads prepared for us. So please, let's welcome him. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I'm humbled, to be honest. And first and foremost, for those that are here physically and for those that are watching online, I want to welcome you. My sincere appreciation to the leadership of this organization for bringing me over to talk to you wonderful people. And quickly, I will introduce myself. Not a lot of details. Idowu Anthony-Ajileye is my name, as earlier mentioned. My background, I've got a degree in civil engineering. I've got a master's in business. I've got diverse experience in several sectors, from highways to buildings to rail to manufacturing to utilities, all bits and pieces, and that's me basically from a professional perspective. So before we crack on, I will lay the foundation of what we are trying to do today. The first thing I want to say, because we are in the West, is a very legal society. I am not a certified financial advisor, but what I'm doing today, I'm giving financial education based on personal experience. So that is the first foundation I want to lay. The second one I want to say is that, though I know it was mentioned, trillionaire and all the stuff like that, I'm just a simple, basic person. I've not arrived yet. I've got a good idea of where I want to be, and I know exactly what I need to do to get to where I want to be. Maybe, hopefully, by coming here today, I can change the 10 years financial journey of somebody to 10 weeks financial journey. And it's possible we have billionaires in the audience or billionaires online that are listening. I just want to make something very quick, that the most wealthy people on the face of the earth, they have coaches. And a lot of even those coaches don't have 1% of their wealth, but they still learn from those coaches. So I hope one way or the other, I will be able to pass some meaningful information to people here today. So when I was contacted about this event, they said, oh, let's come and talk about how people would invest, this and that, and all the stuff like that. And I said, we are putting the cart before the horse. Because if income is equal or less than expenditure, you cannot invest. You cannot invest. So if you campaign from now till kingdom come, you don't have money, you can't invest. Basically because you are even struggling to make ends meet. So I said, we have to look at things in a different perspective. But somebody once said that if you take the entire wealth in the world today, take the money from all the billionaires and trillionaires and put it together in one pot and share that money equally with the over 8 billion people on the face of the earth, that in not too distant future, the money would go back to those pockets in the proportion they were before it was taken. I say that again if you missed it. If they take all the money in the world, from the richest people or wherever they are, and from the last count, we had more than 8 billion on the face of the earth, and they shared that money equally to everyone. Divide the money by 8 billion. In not too distant future, the money will go back to those pockets in the percentage in which it was taken before. What does that tell us? One simple message it says is that some people understand how money works. Some people understand how money works. And that is very, very important. So three keys to financial intelligence. One is how to get the money in. That is one. Number two is how to hold on to as much of that money. And number three is whatever you are holding on to, how to multiply it or how to invest it. Those are the 3 keys of financial intelligence. Today, I'm focusing on only steps 1 and step 2. How to get the money in and how to hold on to as much of that particular money. I'm not going to be talking about how to invest the money. So, to keep it very simple, I am not selling anything to anyone today. Not selling any goods, not selling any services or whatsoever. That is something for another time. So please, let's enjoy this together and let's relax, yeah? No sales, no books, nothing. Please, no services, nothing to be sold. Just relax and please follow what we're trying to do. I'm going to be leaving you 40 key points. 40 key points of financial intelligence today. And I start with the first one with a very personal story. When I was doing my first degree in Africa, I studied civil engineering, as I said earlier. I was very active with student politics. So one way or the other, via elections and all that, I became the chairman of my halls of residence. Those days, elections were tough in the student communities. And where I was leading as a student leader is a very critical hall of residence. If the university will be peaceful, it has to be from that particular hall of residence. And if the university will be turbulent, it has to be from that particular hall of residence. And when authorities know this, they want to befriend leaders of such settings. So one way or the other, I became friends with some top people within the university, but particularly there was one person that we got very close. We got very close, we got on very well, and so on and so forth. One way or the other, after I left the university, we still kept in touch. We still kept in touch, we were friends and all that. I left then about late 1998 or something like that. So I left, I went my way, I did my youth service. When I did my youth service, I gave him a call and said, youth service done, how can you help me fix a job and all this stuff like that. One single phone call to his friend, I got a job. It's as easy as that in that system, if you know people. So I got a job, then I started and all this stuff. Then later on, I moved from that particular job. I moved to the banking industry and I was doing project development for those banks. But I kept in touch. But fortunate for me, I do travel a lot around the country at that particular time. So anytime I have the chance to go where I can find him, I take that particular opportunity. But one way or the other, himself also, cut long story short, he also left the university and he got an appointment in his home state, one of the very, very rich states in my home country. He got an appointment with the government and he was living large, he was comfortable, everything was going good. And politics never leaves and all that. So one way or the other, he now aspired. He aspired to be the state governor of that particular home state. So he aspired to be the state governor, and fortunate enough for him, he was the preferred candidate. He was the preferred candidate of the incumbent governor. Those that knows how politics works in Africa, if the incumbent wants you, it's almost as certain that you have gotten it. I know things are changing now. They are bringing in technology, and a lot of people have been frustrated now. They don't have so much powers as they used to do with elections and all that. So he had that confidence that the incumbent is for me, I will likely get that particular position. He put in every single thing. Cut long story short, one way or the other, he did not get the ticket of his party for that particular election. He didn't get it. So he lost that particular, but he put in every single thing he had. But I was following from afar. I know one of his nephews was a good friend. I said, how is Oga doing this and that? He was telling me all sort of negative things. In the process of spending all the money, spending this, spending that, he lost his marriage, he lost so many things. He was totally down. So one way or the other, in 2015, somebody invited me to the seat of power in that particular country because there was a change of government. But that's a story for another day. So when I got there, then I said, well, let me even look for this man and let me call him and see if there's a way I could just catch up again and all this stuff like that. And coincidentally, he was also in the seat of power at that point in time. Basically because he couldn't make what he wanted as a governor. Then later on, of course, they keep pursuing new government, appointment, and all this stuff like that. I got him one way or the other. He came to my hotel room. When I saw him, I was very, very sad. He wasn't looking very good. He wasn't looking good. He now said, he said some things to me. Anyway, I gave what I could and all that, but I wept in my heart because I know how he was before. Then he now said to me that he calls me Aji. He now said, Aji, now that you know powerful people in the seat of power, now this and that, I want to give you this project. I'm trying to chase this, I'm trying to chase that, and all this stuff. I said, no problem, Oga. I will see what I can do. So I left after a week. And I was expecting maybe he's going to follow me up 1 week or 2 weeks to say how far with what I told you to do and all this stuff like that. But I didn't hear from him. I now find my way. I now look for his nephew that I knew. I said, what up, Oga? What's going on? I've not heard from him and all that. He now said, Oga is dead. I said, what happened? I said, I still saw him a few weeks ago. He said, Aji, let me just be honest with you. He just got tired of pushing. He just got tired of pushing and he gave up. So what is the point I'm trying to make is that a lot of us are like that. Just the job, just that business, or just that politics. We cannot live a life on that basis to be financially free. No job is secured, no business is secured, no politics is secured. I will talk more about that as we go on. Number 2 point I'm going to give you today is that always have a plan before circumstances forces a plan on you. Always have a plan before circumstances forces a plan on you. Quick examples during the pandemic. I learned of a particular householder that wanted to paint his house. Looked on the local magazine to call for a particular painter. The painter came over and started to paint. Then they got talking. The householder and the painter got talking. And the householder was saying, how long have you been doing this and that and all this stuff? And the guy said to the painter, I've just started this as a matter of emergency. Actually, I'm a pilot. I'm a pilot. When I heard that, I was sick in my mind straight away. That how come? Nothing wrong in painting. Painters make money in the West. It's not like other places. Painters are not poor people. But what I'm trying to say is that how come that the pilot all of a sudden resorted to the job of painting? Because circumstances has forced him into that. It is not something we'll have planned ideally. And that is that particular person's circumstance. Again, we have a sort of a therapist that comes to our residents. Maybe from time to time, we call the therapist for massage and all this stuff. In the thick of the pandemic also, all of a sudden, my wife told me, this person sent me a text that do you have any gardening job to do? I've never known that person as a gardener. But all of a sudden, circumstances has pushed a qualified massage therapist to become a gardener looking for where to cut grass. There are so many examples I can give you. But the key point is that don't let circumstances push you to the point that you will have a plan. The third point I'm going to give you is that you must prepare for opportunities. If you don't prepare for opportunities, you will never recognize it. That is one. And number two, you will never be able to take advantage of those particular opportunities. I go back again to the pandemic. At the pandemic, as bad as it was, when I say pandemic, I'm referring to COVID-19. During COVID-19, valuable stocks sold for peanuts. Valuable stocks sold for peanuts. I will just give you one example. For those of you that are familiar with what goes on in Africa, one of the biggest banks in Africa is Zenith Bank. In March 2020, the shares of Zenith Bank sold for 10 naira 70 kobo. 10 naira 70 kobo. As at end of trading yesterday, it was maybe 24 point something or thereabout. But the key point is this. This particular bank, on the average in the last 3 years, they pay like an average of 3 naira in dividends. That is one. Number two, there's been a massive movement from 10 to 24. Forget about the currency. Forget about the denomination. It is not any different from $10 becoming $24. And it's not any different from $10 being made over 3 years. So what it means is that the cost of purchasing that particular stock in 2020, having taken dividends over 3 years, you have gotten that particular money back. That is one. You've had price movement. No matter the inflation, no matter the devaluation or whatever the case might be, if you know how to lock money in appreciating assets, you will never be a loser. So valuable stocks sold for peanuts. That is the first point I want to make on that. The second one is that properties sold for a bargain during the COVID-19 pandemic. But if you don't understand it, if you didn't prepare for it, you will never be able to take advantage of it. As difficult as COVID-19 was, I can say with all humility, it was a massive destiny step up for me. Because I knew what I wanted, and when I saw it, I jumped at it. A lot of investors in this country, by the way, for wherever you're joining us from, we are talking from the United Kingdom. A lot of investors panicked, and they sold properties at prices you would never find it. Why did they do that? We had a conservative government. People were going to lose jobs. People were told to stay at home. But nobody expected that a conservative government would give as much welfare as they did. It got to a stage, people were followed. It got to a stage, the government was paying 80% of salaries of people in the private sector, which nobody expected. But nobody knew that was going to happen. People thought, well, tenants won't be able to pay rent, and this and that, property prices will fall and all that, and they were selling all sort of stuff. By the grace of God, I picked one, and it's the best I've ever picked in my life. So what I'm trying to say is that if you don't prepare for opportunities, you will never take advantage of it, and you will never recognize it. Point number 4 I'm going to be discussing today is about you need to understand assets and liabilities. It is a big topic. We can talk about that for the next 1 month. You must understand assets and liability. Again, quick examples. In the mid-80s to late 80s, 2 different individuals came across money. One was a musician and one was a banker. One used his money to build a massive palace, a lovely mansion that everyone say, oh, he's got a lovely big house and all this stuff like that. And the other person used this money to start a bank. That bank is one of the biggest banks in Africa today. If you measure both individuals now, they are 1 billion miles apart in terms of wealth. Though a lot of us, it's good to have your house, to live in, either you own it, either it's mortgage or whatsoever. But what I can tell you straight away, the house you live in, if you look at it deeply, it is not an asset. Somehow, it is not an asset because it is not making you money. But I understand the concept of home ownership. Point number 5, everyone has 24 hours in a day. How you use yours is very important. Somebody once said that when you acquire a television, it is not the cost of buying the television, but the key thing is the cost of watching it. The cost of watching it. If I'm going to ask people in this audience now that, how much did you buy your TV or whatever? Someone say maybe £500, £1,000, £2,000, or whatever the case might be. But the television set you have is costing some people £100,000 a year. And they don't know it. I'm not saying you go and break your television, please. I'm not saying that. But you must know exactly what you're doing on the television. You can relax, not the problem. If you are the people that will sit on television, at 10 o'clock, you are looking at Sky News. 10:15, they will tell you the same news. 10:30, same news. 10:45, they just have additional breaking. They add it to it. Then 11 o'clock, then 11:15. And that's what you do all day. You are throwing away your destiny. You are throwing away your destiny. You must know exactly what you want. I watch TV, and I can tell you 95% of my time on television is on educational stuff. Educational stuff via YouTube or whatever the case might be. So please be mindful of how you spend your time. I like football. I watch Premier League. I can tell you, if they play football every single day, I'm going to hate it. Because I cannot commit my time to watching television or relaxing on TV every single time. That is point number 5. Point number 6, your expenditure must never exceed your income. Never, never. No matter, I don't care how much you are taking. It must never exceed your income. You must strategically position your life to keep your expenditure within the boundaries of how much you earn. I am an immigrant, it's obvious, you can see, yeah? And also, a lot of people here, you've gone through your own experience and all that. I will tell you a quick story. When I came to this country in 2004, I was already married. I had a daughter that was 18 months old. However, before I came here, I won't see myself as an economic migrant because I had a fantastic bank job. I had my apartment. I had my own power, whatever I need to do, I was comfortable. But I had a clear vision of why I wanted to move on and do something else and do some study and develop myself and all that. So when I got here, though I came with a lot of cash, but I said to myself, I'm going to keep my lifestyle within the money I earn in this system. I'm not going to say, even though no matter the amount of money you have, you're going to finish it. If what is going out is not as much as what is coming in. I said I'm going to keep it within what I earn in the system. Then I was earning 120 pounds a week. 120 pounds a week. And the house rent alone, shared flat, was 60 pounds a week. You all have your stories, but I'm getting to a point about keeping your expenditure within your earnings. At that point in time, even I did not pay for home broadband. I didn't pay for home broadband. When I need to use internet, I go to the local library as a means of saving cost. Because normally I would have a bus pass anyway. So if I use my same bus pass to go to work and also use to go to the library, it's not taking anything from me. That is what I was doing. Despite that, it was very tough. I kept within that particular frame. My daughter was 18 months old. It got to a stage, it was difficult to maintain her with that particular income. I sent an 18-month-old daughter to my parents and my wife's parents to look after her. It was tough. My wife cried so much. I would have cried so much. I just tried to be a man. So what I'm trying to say is those days that we'll go to the library, for example, I'm holding the buggy in the park. She will use the internet. Then later we'll swap over. I will use and all the stuff like that. All in a bid to keep expenses within my earnings. And so what am I trying to say to you is that no matter what the case might be, no matter what you earn, you must keep whatever you are earning. Make sure that you are not spending more than what is coming in. Point number 7, trading only your time for money is never the best strategy. Trading your time only for money can never be the best strategy. I have never seen anybody that has become wealthy on the basis of only trading their time for money. Be very clear about that. Point number 8, even if you are still trading your time for money, make sure you are getting the best possible money for your time. It is a journey. There's going to be a time you trade your time for money, but the point I'm making is if you are still trading the time for money, get the very best money for your time. I'll give you a quick example. I'm a real estate investor, as I've mentioned before. Now, based on circumstances in the country, United Kingdom now, because I have a lot of audience online, in United Kingdom, it might be a good idea, depending on your personal circumstances, to do property acquisitions in a limited company rather than in your personal name. Please, I'm not giving you financial advice. What I'm saying to you is that depending on your circumstances, it might be a better strategy. That is what I do. But the point I'm making is this. If you're going to do property acquisition via a limited company and you want to get money from the bank will tell you, though you will know you are a corporate entity, you want to acquire this property, we need what we call a letter of guarantee to come from you as an individual to be able to fund that particular transaction. So what they are trying to say is that if for any reason you think, because I'm buying this particular property as a corporate entity, I can now do whatever I like and whatever crash it or maybe the property goes pear-shaped, I can escape my liabilities. No. So what they are trying to say is that we are going to take away the veil of incorporation and go after you as an individual to account on behalf of the organization that you are using as a special purpose vehicle. But coming to my point, I can read. I went to school. I know what letter of guarantee says. But the bank wants a solicitor to tell you what that document says. I know what it says, but if a solicitor does not tell you and you sign it in a solicitor's presence, they will not accept that letter of guarantee. And they have their nominated solicitors that does that for them. So I did a transaction not too long ago. And we agreed a particular time with that solicitor. And when Well, the person called me. He now said, oh, Mr. This and that, and all that. He now said, have you done this before? I said, yes. He said, oh, you've done it before. I said, then that's fine, then just sign. In less than 30 seconds, I paid 300 pounds. How many people take 300 pounds in 30 seconds? And there are some lawyers in the country I come from. They are waiting in front of the court to do affidavit. Some people are not even taking 2,000 pounds a month. A fresh lawyer in this country, go and check how much they are earning. And some people are taking 300 pounds in 30 seconds. And they will do many of such. Many of such in a single day. So please, whatever you're doing, make sure that you are taking the maximum possible from your particular time. Point number 9, target a scalable business. Scalable business is very, very important. Business that makes money while you are asleep. That makes money while you are asleep. Life is a journey, life is a process. But what I'm trying to say is that should be your aspiration. If you want to be financially intelligent. When you're on the beach, money is coming in. When you're sleeping, money is coming in. And so on and so forth. So many things you can do. Please bear that in mind. Even if you're in a journey of employment or whatsoever, have at the back of your mind that at some stage in my life, how can I turn this particular skill set into a scalable business? How can I consult based on my skills? So you don't see yourself working all your life to pension on fixed income. And you guys know what happens in the UK where I am. The more the money, the taxation goes up. Please target a scalable business. Very important. Point number 10, stop upgrading to what does not serve you. Some people change their phones every year. They keep changing it because they have tweaked the camera or they have tweaked something that does not add any value, that they don't use, whatever. I won't quote, but you people know what I'm trying to talk about. Every single year, they are changing phones. Some phones are over £1,000. Some phones are £700. There are times where the phone I use, I can use phone for 7 years. I don't care. Once it serves my purpose. I'm not in this fizzy thing of it has to be changed. What's the latest and all that. Don't upgrade to what you don't need. Don't. There was a time that after so much pressure, I was forced at home. Yeah, this is your phone. You just have to change it and all, and all that. So I was forced to change a phone after so many years. And I changed to a phone, not very expensive one. And after a few months, something happened. The phone got damaged. I now bought another one that was like 20% of the price of what I changed it to. And it's still serving me exactly like the one that was destroyed. Don't upgrade for the purpose of upgrading. Make sure what you're upgrading is actually serving you. Point number 11, don't ever invest in what you don't understand. Don't ever. That was one of the quickest way to lose money. Don't forget, the second focus of this session is that you must know how to hold on to as much money that comes into your hand. Don't ever invest in what you don't understand. Very, very key. I've seen people tell me before, I bought this, I bought that. And I just asked them one simple question about that particular investment. They have no idea about it. And again, I'm not condemning those that are doing crypto, whatever. You know why you are doing it. I don't understand it. That's why I don't do it. But those that understand it and are doing it, all the best. I don't understand it. And that's why I'm not doing it. And I will not do it until somebody tells me the normal money that we spend is not going to happen again in this world. Because I don't understand it. But please understand my heart. I'm not condemning it. I don't do it because I don't understand it. If you cannot explain to me an investment, and I can see the clear picture, the end and the means to the end, no matter what, you campaign from now till kingdom come, you are not going to win me. And that is me. But the key point is that don't ever invest in what you don't understand. Point number 12, always think of all life costs of your acquisitions, not just the immediate amount you spend, you put into it. I'll give you a good example. There was a time I bought a car. This particular car, I liked it, very good. But even one single button goes wrong, I must go to the dealer. And for the dealer to even examine anything, it is this amount of money that they will charge you. They will say the cost to examine something or the cost to whatever. But I was not at that level financially in my life. I was not at that level financially in my life. So what I'm trying to say is that always look at the long picture. Look at the long picture. What is it? What's it going to cost me? to keep this thing going, and not just what it's going to cost me to do it immediately. I'm a civil engineer by training. I'm a project management consultant. I know there's a difference between the cost of building a house and the long-term cost of maintaining the house. You can build and put all sorts of funny designs in place. It can cost you 10 million to do it, and it can be costing you 2 million every single year to keep it maintained. And you can buy something for 20 million, and it's costing you just 10K every year to maintain it. Look at the long-term picture. Don't just look at the immediate cost of acquisition. This is financial intelligence. Very, very important. Point number 13, have a monthly budget and stick to it. Don't spend beyond your means. That is clear enough. Have a monthly budget, stick to it. Don't let anything take you out of your plan, out of your principle. Don't spend what you don't have. Keep to your monthly budget and keep to it strictly. Point number 14, your income is not your cash flow. Your cash flow is your net income. There are times you are holding money, but you know yourself that that money, 80% of it is gone. Basically because you have certain things to do. So don't be carried away by saying, yeah, this money I've earned and all that. So money you have earned, they are not your cash flow. They are just basically something that will go out. So your net is what you'll be planning around. That is very, very key. Point number 15, bring your skill set to the fore. There is no value in a skill set that nobody knows about. If you keep your skill set in the closet, it doesn't fetch you anything. If you are the best drummer and you never drum for people to know you can drum, it's not going to attract you any favors. It's not going to attract you any income. So you must learn to bring your skill set to the fore. I like gospel music. My favorite gospel person, nobody knows that person. And I see lots of people that their names are ringing all over the place. But this person in question, I so much love the way she goes about it, but nobody knows her. One way or the other, somebody has not taught her how to bring yourself to the public space, because your branding will attract money for you. Point number 16, don't compete with anyone so that you don't mess up your finances. If they are using Jeep, let them continue using the Jeep. If they are using Porsche, let them continue using the Porsche. Focus on your own journey. People run into trouble because they are trying to compete with others. They want to live the lifestyle of others where they have not really attained that particular level. Everybody is on a journey. Your own Jeep might come in 15 years' time. Your own jet might come in 20 years' time. Don't try to copy people. Focus on your journey. And this is very important because when you run into difficulties, nobody is going to help you. If I tell you now to pick up your phone and scroll to your contact and tell me 5 people that can pay your mortgage if you fail to pay it, I will give you whatever they call it and say, yeah, you have very solid contact. So don't be perturbed by what somebody else is doing. Focus on your own journey. Don't copy anyone. Point number 17, get your debt under control. Get your debt under control. There is good debt and there is bad debt. Borrowing money to go on holidays is a bad debt. Yeah? Borrowing money to buy a car that you cannot conveniently afford is a bad debt. Yeah? And as I said before also, if you have investment in a particular house, you know what that means. If you borrow money to invest in a property, provided you know what you are doing, please don't just say, well, somebody told me anything property is a good debt. It is not always the case. You must know what you are doing. I know what I see in the market every day. I follow auctions. I follow the property market. And I see people buy certain things. And I know what it is now the interest rate is. And I say to them in my heart that from what I can see, these numbers don't stack up. How would you make money from this transaction? So please and please, the fact that investing in property is a good debt, know what you are doing before you venture down that particular route. Point number 18, as part of your journey to financial success or financial intelligence, please prepare for rejection. People will reject you. It is not new. Husband might have an Indian restaurant, and the wife can be going to Chinese restaurant. So don't say, well, oh, if my wife or my husband does not protect my business, why am I wasting my time? I'm going to stop. I'm not going to continue again. No, 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 no. Just focus on your journey. You will see rejection. You will see some people that come to you to come and ask for money. They know what you do. When they need money, they will come to you. They know your business. They won't patronize your business. They patronize somebody else's business. But when they need help, they will come to you. Yeah, you're going to see that. Don't let all these things discourage you. But the point is that keep your focus. Prepare for rejection. It is part of the process. Point number 19. Please, please, and please, pay the price of integrity. Pay the price of integrity. It gives you a massive leverage financially. Massive, massive leverage. In fact, it is a money spinner. I deal with so many people. And what people keep telling me, that it is because you are the one telling me, that is why I'm going to do it. Because you are the one telling me, that's why I'm going to do it. Because you are the one telling me, that's why I'm going to do it. So, integrity is a massive leverage. Know how to build your integrity and to maintain it. Let your A be A, let your B be B. You might not get it immediately. Years down the line, it will pay back. It will pay back. There are some people that, even if they campaign and speak in tongues, see Jesus comes, they won't get £1 from me because they have no integrity. They won't. So what I'm trying to say is that build your integrity. It will make room for you in business. People want people that they can deal with, that their A is their A and their B is their B. And they will trust you with their investments. Again, point number 20. Somebody said, and I quote, profits are better than wages. Profits are better than wages. Please, whatever you're doing, aim for profits. Let profits be your watchword. It is far better than wages. Nothing wrong in wages, nothing wrong in working, nothing wrong in employment. It's a process. But what I'm trying to say is that your long-term focus should be on profits, not wages. Point number 21. Have defined goals. Conceive your aspirations and work daily towards it. Every single day, be working towards your goals. Every single day. If you cannot conceive it, you can never realize it. Whatever you cannot picture in your head, you can never attain it. So please conceive it and keep working towards it. Some people's journey might be 5 years, some might be 6 years. Consistency, taking the step towards your goals. At some stage, you will get to where you want to be. Point number 22. Be desperate for information that sets you free financially. Be desperate for information that sets you free financially. There is time for relaxation. But if you watch Nollywood from morning to night, or you watch Hollywood from morning to night, you watch Bollywood from morning to night, what financial information does it give you? Please, be desperate for information that you need. Dig for information. Simple information can separate the rich and the poor. It is not about strength or time. One single information can tweak. I have seen so many opportunities that a lot of people don't see. But because I burn the candle to look for information. So seek information that will set you free financially. Point number 23. You must have a why. You must have a why. You must have a reason that drives you towards your financial goals. Because if there's no why, if there's no reason, you won't be so much energized towards it. If you want to ask me, what is my own why? Why am I so keen about financial intelligence? Because I hate poverty. I hate poverty. Don't let anybody deceive you. Poverty is not good. It is not good. Don't be deceived. Because I hate poverty, I will do everything humanly possible, legal, to make sure that I'm working towards my financial goals. That is number one. Then what is my second why? My children. I don't want them to start from the ground. They should start from my shoulders. I've dealt with so many rich people. So many rich people. If you get to know them properly, they do everything to protect their interest, protect their investment. They want to pass everything to their children. Even if when they are politicians, they want to get them into politics. When they are doing business, they want to get their kids into their business. They don't want any gap. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I totally agree with that. I want my children to be comfortable. I want them to start from a very good position. They should not start from where I started from. They should start from a better place. So if that is at the back of your mind, nobody's going to be in this world forever. If you are thinking, oh, when I leave this world, what happens to these people? Then that is enough to drive you towards your financial goals. Point number 24, polish your gifts. It will make room for you. It takes discipline, but please be the best at whatever you do. Don't be average. Don't be mediocre, whatever, and say, well, yeah, at least I'm trying, whatever. Be the best at whatever you do. For those of you that watch football, you know the best players, they get very good money. But despite that, they are disciplined. Not many people will have billions, and you can keep your eyes off some food. There are some things they are not going to eat. There are some of them that will have to wake up at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock and go to training. Imagine a billionaire going to training 5 o'clock to wake up. Think about it. Imagine a billionaire going into the ring and being boxed in the face. If you have money, who is going to box? Why should I box when I have money? So I'm just trying to say these things are not easy. People think it's not easy. For those that watches football, you check it. Boxing Day, we are all waiting for Boxing Day matches. That want to watch a match. It means that they're going to deprive themselves of maybe Christmas. You have to be in the camp maybe Christmas evening or whatever. So there's a price to whatever you want to do. But the key thing is that you must learn to polish your gift. Because if you don't polish your gift, what will separate you from the rest? That is what you need to do. Point number 25. Let your adversity be your advantage. It builds a mental toughness to overcome life's obstacles. I have my adversity, and I know how it is helping me to be a very tough person mentally. And because I'm mentally tough, nothing can stop me. Whatever I need, whatever I want, I will go for it. I don't give up. I will never give up. I keep pursuing it. But what I'm trying to say is that if you have any adversity in your life, turn it to positivity. Turn it into positivity. Let it give you strength to pursue whatever you want to do. Then point number 26, master the act of selling. Master the act of selling. The CEO of an organization is the chief marketing officer of that organization. I've seen people say, I'm not a salesperson, I'm not into sales, I'm not this, I'm not that. Even if you are in employment, you go for an interview, you must know how to sell yourself. You don't know how to sell yourself, you will not get the job. You will not get the job. Master the act of selling. It can give you loads and money. Be it selling yourself in a job interview, be it selling the product, be it selling services. It's one of the key ways of making money that you don't need any massive investment. You know, people say, I need a certain amount of money to start an investment and all that. A lot of sales businesses does not need any initial investment. And you can turn your life around by that particular concept. And if yours is just to apply for the job, know how to sell yourself. I don't plan to apply for any job now, but if I go for an interview and they're going to interview me on my field, that person must be very good to defeat me because I know my field in and out. So the reason being that the way I'm going to talk to you, even I'll be the one almost interviewing the interviewer because I know I have a lot to tell the person. So please and please master the act of selling. Point number 27, turn your car into a lecture room. For those that does a lot of driving, please get something you can listen to that builds you as a person. Some will travel for 4 or 5 hours and they are listening to radio and something happened or all those nonsense stories that does not add any value. If that is how you want to do it, very good. But what I'm saying is that you can use that time to learn. But learn while you're doing what you need to do. Or some will fly for several hours. They fly for several hours and they are finding what to do. Maybe you are doing maybe London to Australia flight, 17 hours. You now start to, what do I do next? Okay, they want Nollywood 1, Nollywood 2. Why not get something downloaded before? Audible. There are books on Audible. You can download it. It doesn't need any Wi-Fi. That even in a single journey, you can finish a whole book. This is a book club. People say, how can I create 4 hours or 5 hours? When you're in the air, you can't go anywhere. There's no bus stop to come off the plane. Then why not just get something, listen, and build yourself? And that's very, very important. Then point number 28, you can change your lifestyle and that will increase you financially and even boost your health. What am I saying? Take, for example, where you live to the train station. If you are the one that goes on the train regularly and all those things, if it is less than
an hour or thereabout. I don't see any reason why you should be driving to the station and paying parking charges and paying all sorts. Because you can take a walk. Yeah, take a walk. You don't need to pay car park. Some people pay £10 a day to park their cars. And they will drive again petrol. Then the car again deteriorating or whatever. Why not just take a walk? Because the same person will go and pay amount of money in the gym to be on the treadmill for 1 hour. When you can do a single walk an hour or less, do it back, your exercise for the day is done. You see, please, changing your lifestyle can go a long way to help you financially and even boost your health. My personal example, years ago, I changed my style of travel from Kent into London. I tell you, based on that change of lifestyle, the way I traveled, I was able to buy a holiday home off plan by paying in installments over a 4-year period. I bought a property by changing the way I travel to work. And these things are possible. You might not know it. Some spend so much money buying water, some spend money buying what they can, if they prepare ahead. So please, change of lifestyle can help you go very far in life. Then point number 29, get rid of this discount sales mentality. Oh, sales is coming. Hey, Boxing Day sales. Hey, Black Friday sales. People start to buy nonsense, what they don't need. They start to buy and acquire nonsense. I can buy sales, but before I buy sales, I must have been waiting for that price to come down. And that is the mentality. You know you need something, and you're waiting for the right time to buy it. You know when they do Boxing Day, you know when they do Black Friday and all this stuff like that. And that is how the mentality should be. Don't just start to buy what you don't need and say because it is sales. Sales will never end. They will do sales every year. They will do sales every year. Don't destroy your finances by saying, it's by the window. 70% discount, 80% discount, 90% discount. Don't buy what you don't need. Point number 30, invest in yourself. Invest in your business. No better investment than what you put in yourself. Whatever stays in your brain, nobody can take it away. You can always start again. Polish yourself. Learn more. If you are doing business, put money in that business. Buy the best tools that makes your business easy. Whatever you need to do with your business, polish it. If you have to do a very good website, do it. Invest in your business. Don't be running business as if you are in 1920. This is 2023. Invest in your business. Well, that's what's going to sell you. That's what's going to bring money for you. Point number 31. Avoid second, third, fourth income via the PAYE system. I'm not a tax advisor. If you are gunning for any form of income outside of your primary income that's on PAYE, avoid taking second income, third income through the PAYE system. I will leave it there. Speak to your tax consultants. Point number 32. Point number 32. Pay your taxes, but be tax smart. Know what to buy in your name. Know what to buy in your business name. Be tax smart. Again, I will leave it there. Talk to your tax consultant. They would help you further. Point number 33. Please find a way to solve a problem. If you can solve a problem, it is like money ritual. The money will never end. It will never end. I'm putting on glasses now. Somebody invented glasses. We drive cars. Somebody invented cars. The planes fly. Somebody invented it. Some will look at where they live and say, well, in the 20 miles radius of where I live, there's not a single African shop there. I'm going to start one. Some might say, well, in the 20-mile radius, there's no restaurant or whatever. I'm going to start one. If you can solve problem, you will make massive amounts of money. Please bear that in mind. Point number 34. Don't pay for what you can easily do. If you can easily do anything yourself, don't pay for it. But please be mindful. There's a caveat to that. Don't spend your time doing something that it will be cheaper for you to engage somebody and pay while you make better money for that particular time. Very massive caveat. So I'm saying, for example, let's say you spend 3 hours washing your car. Some people love washing their cars. They can be there for 4 or 5 hours washing their car. They love it. They're almost romancing their car. There's nothing wrong in that. But what I'm trying to say is that if I'm going to make better money in 5 hours of my time, why can't I go and pay somebody lesser to wash that car for me? Why I do what I need that gives me a better result than me giving my time to such. You don't have to be like me. You can see me now. I've been in this country for over 18 years now, yeah? Over 18 years. I've never been to the barbing salon before. Never. Not once. Not once. Why? I adopted a hairstyle that does not give me trouble. Before I came here, in less than 15 minutes, I cut my hair. I do that once a week. And even if I'm going to travel outside of my base, and it's going to fall between when I cut my hair, I put my clipper in my box. 18 plus years, going to 19. I have never been to a barbing salon in this country. Even if it's 10 pounds or 5 pounds per week. By 52, by 18, calculate it. And see how much I have retained. If I was doing hairstyle, I can't do that. Because you cannot do hairstyle, you know, all this cut as if the jungle is coming. You know, I can't do that myself. You see, but because I adopted what is easy. And I've seen women also that will say, well, I'll just go for something light, or either I'll just cover my hair when I need to cover it with something, or whatever the case might be. So what I'm trying to say is that just think of ways that you can keep you can keep money in your pocket. Point number 35. I will strongly advise you, stay away from credit cards. It is only if you are using credit cards to build your credit. Stay away from credit cards, because that is where people start to spend what they don't have. Stay away from credit cards. But if you are sure that I've got the money, I normally make these expenses regularly, you can use a credit card to do it and keep that money somewhere else, so that every single month you set up a direct debit such that that payment goes straight to the credit card. You are never late and you never miss the payment. Don't think, I will try and remember when they send me a statement. If your strategy is to build your credit, intentionally set a direct debit. The money you are spending, which ideally you have the cash to spend, put it in that account and set the direct debit against that particular account. That can help you to build credit. But having credit cards and start to spend and start to spend and start to spend, especially if you are paying interest on credit cards, it is a killer of finances. Stay clear of it. Point number 36, be mindful of subscriptions. Some people subscribe to every single thing. They have this, they have that, they have that, they have that. A lot of these things they don't even use. You can imagine Sky TV. Look at how many stations that are there. How many stations that are there? Too many. And some will have a second one, and Amazon Prime, and have this and have that. I like football, but I started to get upset when they started to split Premier League matches. They put some in BT Sport, they put some in Sky Sport, they now put some in Amazon Prime. Some will have every single thing. I said, I can't have every single thing. I must choose the ones I want to take. Because even if I have everything, if it's a 3 o'clock match that is not on TV, am I going to kill myself? I can't kill myself. So I don't have to watch every single thing. So please be mindful. Some have all sorts of subscriptions that they don't need. Be sure you need it. If you don't need it, go and check. You're not wasting your money paying what you should not be paying. Then point number 37 is, don't pay more when people are paying less. I travel a lot. And something I tend to do is only if it is an emergency that I didn't anticipate, I buy tickets well in advance. There are times you sit on a plane, you'll be shocked. No matter the class of plane you board, somebody sitting next to you might be paying £1,000 more than what you paid. I know this because I check. Once I book a ticket, even 6-7 months in advance for journeys I've planned, as I get towards that particular travel date, I keep checking. I keep checking what is the current price of that particular cabin. At times I've seen £1,000 difference, £2,000 difference. The same cabin, similar seat. You see that massive difference. It now gets to a stage, they now say it's totally sold out. So why should you pay £5,000 for what somebody else is paying £1,000 for? It is because of poor planning. You see, poor planning. I understand maybe you lose a loved one, you travel in an emergency. Or a business comes up, you travel in an emergency. I understand that. But you know, I'm going to travel in Easter next year. And you wait till 1 week to buy what you need to buy. Please stop wasting your money and be very intelligent about that. Point number 38. I am not a designer frenzy. Don't be a designer freak. Don't be. A lot of people, if they don't see that logo, they can't put on clothes or whatever. Sorry. If a logo is one thing for me to nullify any attire. For me, logo, I don't like it. But for me, what is functional? Not necessarily cheap. Not what will serve me, what will fit me. But some, they can't put on anything until they see a particular emblem there. Because they want to show off and pay whatever. And you see some people, it does not even fit them when they put it on. It doesn't even fit them. It looks horrible on them. And I've seen people that will put all sorts of things on. They put it on right from their own home. And they will get to the public. and they'll be adjusting their attire every second. It is the first class of madness because you saw it before you put it on. But because it is a particular design, you want to be in vogue and all that. I'm not a design freak. I want what fits me, what looks nice on me, and all that. What I have on the inside is more important thing. People run into debt. I don't want to mention names so that they don't come and sue me. You know those designers that people can kill themselves for. I got to have this class of bag, this class of shoe, this class of what. These are stuff that takes money from people's hands. Point number 39, as I round up, I'm looking at the time. Point number 39 is that somebody once said that a mentor asks the mentee, why are you not doing well? And the mentee had a long list. It is the government. It is taxation. It is my employer. It is this. Long list. But at the end of the day, the mentor said to the mentee, you didn't put yourself on the list. How come everybody is at fault? You are not on the list. You have not seen anything that you are not doing rightly. So basically what we are trying to say is that always do an introspect of yourself and see what exactly you as a person that you are not doing very well. Don't blame the weather. Don't blame, it's not about Labour or Conservative or Liberal Democrat or whatsoever. No matter what the seasons are, those that will make money. Before today would end, some will become billionaires, no matter the circumstance. You cannot blame the sunrise and the sunset. You can't fight the system. You have to find ways of making the best out of the system that you find yourself. And my final point, as I close, is that, again, someone once said, for things to change for you, you have to change. I submit here. God bless you.
Wow. Wow, no, keep clapping for a little bit more. Wow. I think that was definitely, like, as Pastor will say, very loaded. That was very loaded. Thank you very much for, that hour of like 40, should we call it nuggets of things that we can do to change our lives and change the position of our finances. I think for me, one of the key thing that is like through that is hold on to your money as much as possible. Don't spend it on frivolous things and things that you don't need, and don't pay more. Think of the whole life cost and not just the initial investment cost. I think that's actually very vital because we buy a lot of things, we don't think of the maintenance cost of it. Okay, I think now we've got some time to ask some questions. Okay, so I'm sure we've got lots of questions from that 1 hour. Yes. Okay, should we use another mic? Okay, I'll just hand this over. I can see one question already. So you can stand here, and I would hand over the mic.
No, I'll stand now.
Okay, I'll bring the mic because my
see,
sister has
so they can be
some
covered,
questions. Yeah. Okay, over to you. Question number 1.
Thank you, sir. This is, you can see, I took a lot of notes. I refuse to miss any. You said, hold on to your money, but you're not teaching us how to multiply it. And there's something you said about me, and I put it down there. Find a way to solve problem, making 2. And the third one is, I hate poverty. I hate poverty. I've seen poverty. I've been to the north and the south because I'm from the southwest, and I've seen minority being rich and majority being poor, and it's not palatable. So I'm not afraid of poverty. I hate poverty. And my children will tell you most of the things you've taught us this afternoon. I found myself doing a little bit of them. Out of 40, maybe I will score 10. Because
25%.
I don't buy logo, and cheap things do fit me well. So I don't subscribe. And you're talking about COVID destiny. I've been holding on to some money, and you say if there are some investment that can be good, and there are some that you will be funding it, just funding it. I found a property in Kent, and I wanted to go for it because it's cheap. You put tenant. Then I came back, and I'm like, each time I go to that property to check, it's smelling different. Could there be something wrong? And I paused, and I found out that it was leaking. And each time I'm going to check it again, the seller will have done something about it. And I said, you know what? I don't want to fall a victim. Then I paused. And the truth came out of it. So I want you to please advise more. Actually, salary is not enough. I always tell people because, like you said, pay. I don't do bank job. I'm a visitor. I don't do bank job. I do cake business. I've been looking around the corner where I can put a shop. But the time to put into it, I don't want to be paying a staff to manage it and for me to be losing while I'm paying rent and I'll be paying staff. So to manage my job and manage the cake shop is an issue for me. Please advise.
So you've touched on a couple of things, but what I'm trying to avoid is telling people how to invest, as I said at the beginning. So it's something personal, you see, something personal. I would, what I can suggest is we take it out of the context of this seminar, see. But on general terms, you touch on a few things. You talk about property. Don't do property if you don't have the knowledge. That is one, yeah. Then number two, you must have your clear goals for doing property. Am I targeting capital appreciation? Am I looking for cash flow? Am I looking for both? Most of properties in southeast of England or in London might not get you a very solid yield, yeah, because they are very expensive, yeah. But going a bit further up, when I say further up, you also have to do your research, yeah. So don't just go anywhere because it's cheap. There are houses of 40,000, there are houses of 30,000. You must know what you're doing, and they will be 30,000 for the next 30 years. So, but you have to get your strategy very clear. And just finally on what you mentioned about something leaky and all the stuff like that, if you're going to do any form of investment, try to do what we call a comprehensive survey. Even if you are taking a mortgage and the bank sends a surveyor, they are just going to look at basic valuation. They are not going to do comprehensive survey. So if you feel you are in doubt of anything, then you have to commission a comprehensive survey yourself before you put your money in. But in terms of one-to-one advice on investment, is a personal thing. It can't be general. So that's why I don't want to go too much deeply into that. Thank you very much, man.
I have another question here.
Yeah, one of the questions I have is some of us, I know one of the points you mentioned is to invest in yourself, which is very good. So, and my question would be, some of us want to invest in ourselves, but we have extended family. You know what I mean? Yeah. Niece, nephew, and junior brother, juniors, all those kind of things, who will not stop. You know, understand what I mean? I think we discussed it earlier anyway. Yeah. So what's the best way to manage that area? Because whether we like it or not, they will come anyway. So how can I invest in myself when I have all those extensions?
Okay. So what you said, thanks so much, sir, for that question. You're talking about how do you create money to invest in yourself when you have so many family problems and all that. I understand because of our culture, but at the same time, you have to be very smart about it. I can't give a general advice on family because every family is different, every family is unique. But what I will say to you is, I would not go out of my principle because I'm trying to satisfy any family. And one of the things I said to you earlier is, God give us long life. You know what is your monthly expenditure. Check your phone and say, God forbid today, God says it's time. And you don't have any clear plan, anywhere contingency plan. How many of those people can pay what you are doing? None of them can pay it. And I tell you, people gravitate towards you if they find you useful. If they don't find you useful, you don't see them. Even some parents don't respect their kids if they are not doing well. That is the fact. The truth is bitter. You see, you see parents make preference. This guy is doing very well, and they will treat that child with more respect and the next child. I'm not saying it's good, but that is what happens. So the point I'm trying to make is that don't ever inconvenience your plan for any single person. Don't ever. Do the best you can do. But be careful again for those that loans money to family and all that. For me, it's a no-no. I can't advise you how you deal with your family. For me, it's a no-no. What I can give, I will give. Because once you give a loan, then that's where it's going to be the beginning of family fight, family problem. Why do you want to, you should forgive now, it's your brother now, and all that. You see, the money that you possibly are paying interest on, you give to somebody to help them, and they will make a mess of it. You give somebody money to do business, they use it to eat or do something else, or marry a second wife. Yeah? So please, you know what you can, whatever you know, don't inconvenience your strategy because you are trying to please anybody, family or whatever the case might be. So that's the way I'm going to answer that question.
Another question.
Okay.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, sir.
So thank you for the 40. No, I think I stopped writing after 30, but yeah, very, very good ones. I think the first question I want to ask is, for me, one of the most important ones you talked about was your expenditures should be less than your income. Super. And then I also believe that the why of what you do is those two are very powerful. Because the third aspect is then, without especially knowing the why, a lot of things you mentioned, they are really hardcore. Human beings, they take 10, maybe only 1 or 2 would do those 40. It's just human nature. So I think my question would be, at what point do you then leave? At what point, if because these are really good stuff. So at what point do you have an advice on the time when you should do all this, or are you saying people should do this for the rest of their lives? Otherwise, some people will consider it as not living. You understand? If you are so harsh on yourself and everything around you, on everything, on money matters. So I think and then the other one, which I guess you presume is also how much of these things you do is also a function of how ambitious you are, the level of your responsibility. Some will have 2 kids, some will have 10. So you won't expect a guy who has 2 kids to, but your other things, So those are my 2 main questions. Really.
Okay. So thanks so much, sir, for that. So in terms of when you start to do this or when you do this, you will have to set your own personal goals. People's dreams are different, you see. Some are not ambitious, some are mid-ambitious, some are very ambitious. You set your goals. So whatever goals you set yourself, you have to start to take steps toward those specific goals that you have set for yourself. Some people are happy to be in a very good job, work till 65 or 67, then live on their pension or whatever. Some like that. They are okay with that. It is far from me. I can't. I don't like that. But some are comfortable with that. And those with such mentality, they are the people you will see. They go to work, come back, watch TV, sleep. Go to work, come back, watch TV, sleep. If you have an entrepreneur mentality, even if you are working in a job, the moment you finish your job for the day, that is when your day is starting. Because as an entrepreneur at the early stages, you are the accountant, you are the data entry person, you are the admin person, you are the this, it's only specialist skills that you cannot do that you have to pay for. And that's where I'm going to come from that particular perspective. Either you have kids, either they are 2 or they are 5. People must set their personal ambitions depending on their long-term goals. And I wouldn't say to somebody, you must be at 25 or 30 or 40, whatever. If you're lucky enough that people tell you these things early in life, then it will go a long way to help you. Yeah, my oldest child is 20. There's a lot I've already pumped in her head already. But a lot of times when I was younger, my parents were okay. They paid my school fees and they did everything. They took care of me. I did not get financial education from my parents. I did not. So if you get it early, there are people in their early 20s, they are millionaires. Some people are billionaires. A lot of people, even content people, they do not something. It's not that they have one massive warehouse or something. Some are content creators and they are making so much money. Some have YouTubes. I don't know how much they pay them. Some based on the view and all that. So when you start it, it's down to your personal ambition and the exposure you get. Exposure you get. At least so we are talking about this today. Some things might be new to some people. Some might not be new. But even if it's new to someone and they act on it, it's just about taking the step. That is the key thing. No matter what the past is, the moment you say, yes, I'm going to change direction, you will see a massive difference. So it's a personal thing and what you set for yourself. Hope that answers your question, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Just another question.
Thank you so much for all the words of wisdom. My question is around, like, you've talked about, investing and holding on to your money as much as you can. And I think there are circumstances that happens outside of your plan that stops you from holding on to this money as much as you can, or like you invest and things don't go right. What can you advise in terms of managing the risk around all these things? Because I know, like, as Nigerians, a lot of the times we don't like put mitigants in place, to manage the risk, and a lot of us are like, "Oh, God is my insurance," kind of. What can you advise around this, and also things not working according to your plan? I know I'm someone that makes plan. So I'm someone that if I want, like you said, if you want to travel next year, I can buy my ticket now because I hate to pay more than what anybody else would pay. So I would always plan ahead. My husband, on the other hand, is a last-minute person. So he's traveling this afternoon. He will start packing this morning and start going to the barber to cut his hair and trying to fit like 1,000 things within that hour. But it's quite fortunate because he never misses his flight. But I get stressed when I don't plan. I get stressed when I don't plan. I like to be able to like control what I can control as much as possible. But sometimes things don't go according to plan. What would you advise?
Okay, thanks for that. Well, it all depends on, you gave an example of your husband and maybe what he's been doing works for him and all this stuff. And I'm happy to hear that you understand his side of things, because by recognizing something is problem 50% solved and all that. So, but of course, there are times you make plans, things don't go to plan, but you must have contingencies. You must have clear strategies, depending on what you want to do. Take, for example, okay, for example, now this is what I earn, this is what comes into my hand. I don't want any form of shocker to come to me that will deplete whatever. You can go down the line of insurance. Some people do, maybe, for example, building insurance and content insurance, and they don't do home emergency insurance. Why wouldn't you? At times, it's £40 a year. There are times in 1 year, I can call the insurance almost 10 times. Pipe leakage, something, blackout. You know what I'm trying to say? Find ways that you can, well, I'm a certified risk manager, by the way, yeah? There's a way you can transfer your risk to somebody else and paying peanuts for it. But in terms of how you make a plan and all that, again, it's personal. I don't know what you earn. I don't know what profits you make. I don't know what business you do. All those things is all about one-to-one coaching. Coaching people on how to get the best of their lifestyle. It's not just about business. We do life coaching too. You can coach people on how life should be lived, depending on what they want to achieve. You cannot enforce anything on anybody. Once you say, this is where I want to be, you can get someone to help you and guide you to get to where you want to be. It's a one-to-one thing from that particular perspective. But risk insurance is one way you can use to sort of like a shock absorber for unexpected expenses, if you know how to do it and do it rightly. Don't overpay again. Don't overpay. Some don't check on a yearly basis. Am I paying too much? Am I paying too less and all that? Or some don't check small prints of what they are paying for. And once there's a peril, the insurance company will not attend to you. So there are a lot of strategies about it. In terms of investment, as I said, I don't want to touch it. There are so many ways to invest. And I've said to myself, I'm not coming here to sell anything to anybody. But no matter the amount of money I have, I know how to invest it. But I don't just invest, I invest with knowledge. I invest globally, where I live, my home country, outside of my own country. I have full understanding of what I'm doing, and I take responsibility for my decisions. And that's just where I'll put it. Thank you, ma.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
So obviously we know that we're living in a, I guess, highly inflationary environment right now. Our food bills are like double what they were last time. And I know that obviously your advice is initially have a plan in place so that you're not forced by the environment to make a plan. But your income is, say, let's say fixed, but your expenses are like doubling now. What kind of advice do you have for that?
Oh, thank you. That's the simplest question ever. So what you're saying is, how do I get more money? It's as simple as that. How do I increase my income? There are so many ways to do it. There's so many ways to do it. You can sell your gifts, you can sell your skills, you can do business, you can do sales, there are so many things you can do that does not need a lot of initial investment. If you see, I'm taking 4K or 2K, and my expenses is 2K or 4K, you know you're in trouble. You're in trouble, it's obvious. But people are just too posh. They don't want to talk to anybody and all this stuff like that. So, but there are ways, there are so many things. I don't want to be telling you if you do this or do that. Even the skill set you have, you can consult on your skill set. Yeah, but there's somebody that needs the knowledge you have. There are some people I'm going to sit down with now. If I will tell them I'm going to sit down with you for an hour, my charge is £1,000. You can't pay it, forget it. Forget it. It's as simple as that. Somebody, a very respected friend of mine, sent me a message 2 days ago and said to me that somebody wants to do one particular project, that they've costed something, whatever, 300 million, or cut long story short. Hey, can you just please let me talk to the person, So I called the person. I think just yesterday I called the person. Then 5 minutes became 10, became 20, became 30, 40 minutes. I said, Oga, please wait. What you want to do is much more comprehensive than that. If you want me to sit you down for 2 good hours and give you a guide, yeah, I'm going to take £1,000 from you. I'm doing that because I know the person that sent you. If not, I'm going to take £2,000 from you. But if the person doesn't come back, I will leave the person. They will run into trouble because they are trying to do a project in a system they don't understand. So the point I'm trying to make is that there's nothing you cannot do to earn yourself an income. You can sell knowledge. You can sell products. You can sell services. Depending. I don't know your field, but there's nothing you cannot do. Everything is possible. Just think of how can I make profit. And that's it. Some do fulfillment. They don't own anything. They just do fulfillment. Goods come to them. From them, it goes elsewhere. Some do so many things. There are too many things. There are just too many things. But just focus on how can I get more money in. That is just a simple answer. How can I get more money in? Yeah. Thank you, ma.
Thank you very much. Do you have any more questions?
Just an addition. The point about not investing in what you don't know about. I agree, and by the way, I'm the husband she was talking about. That's my wife.
Mr. and Mrs.
Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. So, crypto, I never went near crypto. But the question is, you're not going to know about everything you invest in. Like some of the stock we buy. Some of them we buy stock in, aircraft industry. Some we buy, you understand? We don't necessarily know about, but we do know how the market can fluctuate and the general direction, right? But we don't know about that business. We don't have to know about that business, do we?
Well, for me, I know what I invest in. Basically because I know where you're coming from. Some invest in mutual funds, for example. In mutual funds, they depend on the expertise of the investment firm or the bank. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong because some people are okay with 10% or 12% movement and all that. I like double, triple. That is me. So what I'm trying to say is that things I invest in, I know it in and out. I'm very active in the Nigerian stock market. Yeah, I don't take advice from any broker. The only reason why I have a broker is because the broker is the mechanism to buy. You cannot go to the NGX to buy. The law does not allow you to do that. So all I need is a vehicle to buy. I don't need the advice at all. And I'm saying that, I'm telling you now personally, there's no single day that I spend less than 2 hours following up on Nigerian information because I'm active in that market. I'm active elsewhere in some other countries. Once I follow the news and all, you cannot imagine, for example, you say you're doing maybe FX. I don't do FX. I'm not saying it's bad. You are doing FX. If they sneeze in Hong Kong, you have to know what is going on. If they sneeze in Singapore, you have to know what is going on. It's only if you have put it in mutual fund, you've trusted experts to do it for you. I don't like that. I like things I put in, double, triple, and all the stuff like that. So I spend time to understand. There are times when there are political pronouncements in a country. It can move a stock. But if you don't follow, you wouldn't know. They can suspend a company from the exchange. If you don't follow the news, you would not know. Recently, they did an election in Nigeria. The moment they said somebody was the president-elect, a particular company that had they've not even submitted their financials in the last 2 years. The stock jumped 10%. Political pronouncement, and it moved something. I don't want to mention names. So, but if you don't follow, you wouldn't know. There are times when I will see months ago that they're saying that at a particular time they're going to delist a particular company. If you don't follow the news, you will not know. So whatever I am doing, I want to understand it. If I cannot see the path to the end, I won't touch it. But if you want to go down the line of mutual funds, people can do that. The experts are doing it for you. But despite that, I need to understand, because they will still tell you in mutual funds, high risk investment. Do you want to be high risk, medium? You know what I'm trying to say? I think you're in the banking sector. They will say to you, what's your risk appetite? That will determine where they put your funds. Even if you have a pension, they will ask you in pension how you want your pension to be invested. All those things. So, but if you don't have the knowledge, you just fold your hand and whatever they say what to be will be. I'm not that, and I'm not going to be speaking in tongues for money to come. No, I'm going to walk, but I'm going to pray at the same time. So it's not just say I pray for money tonight. No. I'm going to pray, but I'm going to do the work. Very important. So I want to know what I am investing in. That is my strategy. Thank you, sir. Hope it answers your question.
Thank you. Actually, it's just sprung something in my mind.
Yeah, go ahead, ma.
So just based on what you said, would you say then your research is sufficient, or one should go down the IFA route?
So say that again. My research is
would you consider sort of, say for an investor, like the amount of research you're able to get your hands on in the open market is sufficient for your investment decision, or it would be better for you to go down the independent financial advisor route?
No, I would. For the things I do, we are not all the same. For the things I do, I don't take any advice. I'm not saying it's wrong to do it, because I understand it. My two key investment vehicles are stocks and real estate, and I know both in and out. In any system, if I'm investing in a particular country, I want to know what goes on in that particular system, because I'm deep and thick and following what is going on. So, but some people don't have the time. Some people engage experts. There are some billionaires. They get some expert to think for them, and the expert would advise them, and there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe when I have billions, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that. But for now, I can decide on my investment vehicles, and I pick systems. If I don't know much about the particular country, I'm careful in putting stuff in there and all that. So, and that's just the way I'm going to put it. I've still talked about real estate. I've been doing real estate in Nigeria now since 2007. I've been doing real estate in Egypt now since 2016 and all that. So I don't know the system. There was a time I tried to do New York stocks. I was not committing enough time to it. I stepped out after a few days because I was getting out of my principle. And I said, this is not your principle. You don't do stuff you don't follow. I tried it after a few weeks. I just said, no. I park it aside. And I just talk by what I know. And that's my strategy.
Do you want to tell us a little bit more about a third branch and how, the things that you sell and how people can access that if you wanted to?
I don't sell anything besides. I've tried to avoid that, because once you do sessions, people want to say, they want to sell this, they want to sell that and all that. But from all I've said so far, you can see clearly where my passion is. Stocks, real estate. That's it. I live in the UK. I don't do UK stocks. Yeah. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's bad. I don't. I live in the UK. I do real estate in UK. I do real estate in Nigeria. I do in other places. So once I understand it, so those are my two key vehicles. Some people do commodities. I'm not saying it's bad. I don't know a lot about it. Some do crypto. I'm not saying it's bad. I don't know about it. Some do maybe gold or whatever. I don't know about it. So, but the things I do, if you want to talk to me on real estate, you want to talk to me on stocks, I'm happy to do that.
Okay, thank you very much.